What is up? It is your girl M. Just Ask M, co-host Winnie joining us today, freshly groomed and broke my account, but that's what we do for our fur babies. Right, right. Little mama's hi, Winnie baby. How are you, honey? You doing good? My baby. Yes, we are chilling today. Definitely just, at the home set, if you will. But no, we are here today to talk about being comfortable, being sober minded. And we all know with me, there's always a method to the madness. I say the title and then I completely get off track. But it always relates because there's layers to this stuff. So much relates, even when we think it doesn't. There's a reason, literally, for everything. And, I had posted earlier today, a lot of what I'm always talking about are my crazy spiels, or when I'm super passionate or excited about something. Most of the time, it's something I've experienced, I've been through, I messed up, I failed at. I tried more than once to see if I was doing it right or if it was the right thing, and it didn't. And us as humans, we want to be stubborn, figure it out for ourselves. And I just want to help people through my experiences, through the lessons I've learned, just through things I have figured out, in my short time in life. But I have had the luxury of being around elder folks. I feel like I'm an old soul myself, but with those elder people, or with those people who've experienced things, you have these conversations where they just become life lessons, life guidelines, just certain sayings or perspectives or mindsets that you carry with you throughout life. And through my lifetime, through observing other people, one of the things I notice is, it's easy to find outlets where you escape to. Things that keep you busy enough to forget about the problem, or make you numb, or take away the pain. And there's such a fine line with that, because those can become temporary fixes. And the danger in that is not addressing head on what needs to be addressed, and kind of just being aware of, this is the issue. It doesn't feel great right now, but how do I deal with it so it doesn't keep resurfacing at the wrong times? And that can be anything. I mean, all the way back to childhood, certain upbringings, certain traumas, triggers for you that you have learned about yourself, whether it's through friendships, family, or relationships, business, because there's certain things at the workplace that stick with people that might not sit well with them or leave them with a bad taste in their mouth. So all those things put together, unfortunately, somebody could be dealing with them alone or not know how to deal with it, or might be fearful to talk about, dealing with that, or what they're going through. And that is why it's important to always keep in mind, everybody's human. Everybody has feelings, even if they're the nicest person all the way up to the nastiest person, or with the worst kind of attitude. Everybody has feelings. And if they are the worst person or have a really bad attitude, maybe they didn't just wake up like that. What caused them to get to that space? What makes them lash out or react or respond that way? And all those things put together can easily be flaws that make people uncomfortable in their own skin. Maybe they struggle with being at peace with themselves. Maybe people suffer from regret, certain decisions or certain things they did that they're not proud of or they're not happy with. And maybe they feel like they can't change them, or like it's the end of the world. there's so many factors that can easily make you want to escape to drugs, drinking, partying, constantly on the move, you know, the FOMO, the social anxiety of like, I gotta be here, I gotta be here, I gotta be there. And at one point or another, I do feel like you have to go through it and experience it to understand it. And that's with anything, you know, like even for myself, me and my family, we grew up really strict. We were super Christian, you know, everything was no, 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 don't do that, don't do this, you know, missed out on certain things that, you know, probably trickled into the adulthood of certain social interactions or communication, you know, certain traumas that makes us fearful of expressing, you know, expressing comfortably, family dysfunctionality, not having maybe the best communicating relationship with my parents, wanting to share things, but having trouble doing so because of the culture, the mindsets, just so many things. I know I listed a lot of things, but people don't realize how much those things can affect you years and years later, and maybe even still into your future, you know. But a lot of the time I feel like, oh, you know, we'll just deal with it or get through it. There's just some stuff you don't ever really get past or fully get rid of, because at the end of the day, like, do people ever fully change? Probably not. I feel like we always are our authentic selves at the core. And I think it just becomes us learning how to be better and do better and have more self-control and discipline of maybe the old habits we used to have, or how we react emotionally, or the things we say in moments that it's easy to be weak and, you know, not say or express things the best way that we could. But I've seen a lot in the last few years of my life, and a lot of groups I've been in, a lot of places I've been in, friendships, you know, people around me, acquaintances, whatever the case is, where it's not a good time if you're not drinking. It's not a good time if, you know, it's a super hyped party, or the music isn't, you know, super poppin', or like this and that. And, you know, I've been there and done that, and I've felt that. And then there was a certain point in life that I became more aware of, why do I feel like if it's not at this level, I'm not having a good time, or this can't be as enjoyable, you know, as, you know, the best that it can possibly be. And I started to become aware of that. I started to identify it, try to understand within myself, number one, getting to know me more and maybe what that feeling was stemming from. And then identifying, why do I feel like this is such an easy outlet? Like, what am I avoiding? What am I trying to make up for? What do I feel like I'm missing? You know, and when I started to do that, it gave me a different type of focus and clarity of, well, what is fun? You know, what is fun measured by, or what's not to say if it's not this, that it's not fun, or it's considered boring, you know. And my poison would be drinking. I like me a good, you know, drink. Sometimes these days I've matured my palate to more of a nicer wine, which is nice. But, you know, we all had our eras. Back in the day, you know, you were at the bottoms up, the Chippewas, getting the cranberry and vodkas and the low shelf liquor just to get drunk, get that buzz, dance the most you can, sweat it all out, and, you know, be super extreme and be out till 2, 3 in the morning. And pain wasn't a thing. Being tired wasn't a thing. You woke up the next day and did it all over again. Like, you know, I don't know how we survived on 3, 4 hours of sleep, but we did. These days, very much different. Am I glad to have had those memories and moments? Sure. after 30, as you get closer to your 40s, should you still be doing the same thing you were in your 20s? Probably not. Probably not. And it's not to say no. We are not dead. Absolutely not. You don't have to stop having fun, getting dressed, going out, hanging with good people. But I have noticed that it's refreshing over the years to be okay with your fun changing. Right, Winnie? And there's different ways to have that same equivalent of fun without, sacrificing sleep, sacrificing how you feel the next morning. What's so interesting there, Winnie? New sign? Not having to hang with the youngins just to feel like you're still living your best life. Once again, like, this is where the sober-minded part comes in, and being comfortable and secure within yourself to be like, you know what? I'm just not up for that type of fun today. I am not up for being around that group of people today or in that environment. And being okay enough to say, you know what? No, I need to say no for me. I need to spend time with myself, or maybe with this different group of people. I feel like I need to be refilled in a different way, and I'm not going to get that being around smoking or drinking or drugs, or all the rah-rah that happens after 11 and 12 o'clock at night. There's just a consciousness of that, where whatever you're running from, whatever you're avoiding, whatever you're trying to numb yourself with drinks and in the midnight hours, it's going to be there in the morning. It's going to be right where you left it, and you're going to have to deal with it at one point or another. And whether it's life or certain situations, it's going to make you deal with it and face it. The only worst thing is that if you keep suppressing it, if you keep harboring it and ignoring it, it's probably going to be worse later. Or that thing you're fighting or you have to deal with, it's probably going to come up at a terrible time, in the heat of a moment, when emotions are running high, and now you're just speaking out of anger, frustration, emotion, whatever the case is. If it is while you're drinking, that's worse, because now you have less self-control of your reactions, emotions, and the words that are coming out of your mouth. And it can lead up to who knows what, probably not good situations, as it unfortunately commonly occurs in our world today. So yes, being comfortable enough to be sober-minded, feel what you feel, being okay with what you feel. Sometimes it's not always going to be good. And if it's not good, being aware, accepting it, and putting yourself in a space, or giving yourself a day that allows you to feel those things in a healthy way. Just experience it. Why am I feeling this? What is it that is making me feel this? And when you do identify it, okay, what solution can I come up with to either get rid of this feeling or improve it? You may need to have a conversation to create closure or to be at peace with it. Whether it's asking somebody for forgiveness or forgiving them for yourself, is not easy, but it's not impossible. But there are some situations in life that you do have to identify and accept. If they're no longer in your control, you're never going to make somebody do something that they're not either ready to do or want to do. So if you've helped somebody, if you've given advice, if you've tried to have a conversation and a final solution didn't come out of it, what are you doing to reevaluate or reassess? All right, having that conversation or trying to approach that person about something that bothered me, didn't do it. How are you going to give yourself peace? How can I not sacrifice my sanity and peace without holding a bitterness and anger towards that person. Although I can't make them do or say what I want them to say, how do I come to terms so it's not keeping me up at night? So it's not causing me to drink just to feel numb. In my personal opinion, yes, it is very much easier said than done. You shouldn't let anything or anybody have that amount of power over you to rob your peace, to put you in such a bad place that it's causing you to act out, lash out, do things out of the rebellion because you can't make that feeling go away. So at the end of the day, the biggest lesson and importance is make sure you're good for yourself, because if you are not good for you, you cannot be good for others. It's just flat out. That is in the workplace, family, business, personal relationships. The center of your world, the main priority should always be God, because God is always going to be the consistent thing that's there for you through thick and thin, up and down, happy, sad, good, bad, ugly, whatever the case is. But after that, you should be your priority, and that is not selfish. You should always be your priority, whether that's mental health, emotional health, physical health, spiritual health, self-care, TLC, whatever it looks like for you. If you feel like you get to a point where you are just giving, or you are feeling drained, or something is feeling imbalanced, pause. Remove yourself, stop, take a day, disconnect, detox, fast, whatever the case is, you do what you have to recalibrate and reset yourself. You do whatever you have to do to keep your mind strong, clear, and focused. Because if you can keep those things in line, that's what creates balance. And if you can master the balance of every area in life to work well with one another, you have slightly figured out the key to life. Not easy whatsoever. It does not happen overnight. Is it impossible? No. Does it require a high level of order, discipline, consistency, self-motivation at times? Absolutely. Absolutely. But at no point in time should you be relying on something or somebody so much where it's just like, fix my problems, fix me, make me happy. No. I've done it. I've tried it. I've tried to manipulate it to be that way. It's non-existent. It doesn't work. It's not realistic, and it's not healthy. It's just not. And the better you are within yourself, that creates a confidence that makes you comfortable almost in any establishment, around any crowd. Doesn't matter what you're doing or what's happening around you. It's not to say that temptation is not going to come in one form or another. Rather, listen, temptation comes in church too. Let's not get it twisted. Nothing or nobody is perfect. Whether it's church, the workplace, you in the club, you in a lounge, you at a party, you are in a room where maybe you're not a fan of everybody in that room. For me, I feel the goal is, if you're feeling good, you're feeling good, great. If you're not feeling the best, but you don't want to be antisocial, because there is a fine line. If you have things going on, you don't want to get too inside your head. That is a thing. Thank you, baby. You want to do healthy thinking. You don't want to let the thoughts start going crazy and down the rabbit holes of Lord knows what, putting you in a dark place. That's not good either. And it's also being aware of that. And when you feel like that, get up. Go change your environment, go for a walk, go for a bike ride, go for a car ride, go to the park, something. Do what you have to. Call somebody. If it's real deep and dark, call somebody. Yo, I'm not in a good headspace. I need to talk. I want to get myself out of this. But you do what works for you. At the end of the day, I think so many people doubt themselves because of the easy distractions in the world, social media, things from the past, whatever the case is. You know yourself best. You know the person you are in that moment, and you probably know exactly what you need, when you need it, how you need it. So never be fearful or think, oh my God, I'm going to be so offensive to this person if I can't make this event or I can't do that. Nope. So like I said, whatever it looks like for you to take care of you so you can be the best version of you, to continue being a motivation and positive for others around you, you do that. And that may look like picking yourself up extra that day and pushing yourself forward because no, I know I'm good. It's just my mind and body telling me something different. I got to get up and go. Or if you are not feeling good, you take that day, you call off work, you disconnect, you turn the phone off, you sit in silence if you need to. Or just have a day where you're in the bed, you don't get up and shower, brush your teeth, just watch TV and bum it. All these things are okay. But what people in society has to stop doing is, oh, well, that makes you lazy. Oh, well, that makes you weak. No, it doesn't. No. If anything, it makes you strong to be comfortable enough. Thank you, Winnie. To have enough vulnerability to show, I'm weak right now. I just ain't good right now. I'm not okay today. I just don't feel like being around that person or that group of people or in that environment. Or I'm great today. I'm doing good. I went to that event or I went to that spot, drained me a little bit, but I'm feeling good. And I'm going to keep that energy and mindset and recharge myself somewhere else. There's so many outlets and possibilities of things if you tap in. But tapping in requires focus and clarity. And focus and clarity stems from working on you, identifying things in you. And just because you knew yourself at 20, now you know yourself at 30, and you know yourself, you're a different person. What did they say? There was this video that said your mind isn't the same every 2 minutes. It was something crazy like you're literally changing and thinking completely different every couple minutes. Like the human body and mind is so much more than I think we even know or tap into because of the easy distractions. And not being sober-minded, whatever your poison is, whatever it is that gets you numb or, not aware or brings you to different planets. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that either, because sometimes I have trouble turning off my brain. So I might need a little gummy that knocks me out and goes to sleep so I could sleep good. There's nothing wrong with that, but too much of anything is not good. And balance should be required in everything. So the main point is, if you want to have a drink, cool, but do it in a healthy way. Don't have a drink because I just need to numb myself. I'm frustrated. That's the worst time. That is the worst time to go to your poison to numb you. If you are frustrated, angry, you're grieving, you're sad about something, you went through a breakup, you're going through some type of struggle or stress, that's probably the worst time to go to that poison, simply because it's just an easy outlet. It's temporary, and it's probably going to make that thing worse because you're just dragging it out. You're procrastinating it, not addressing it. And you're not truly handling it. Maybe it's something you're not actually healing from. Or, well, because I don't have full control of it, I want to ignore it. I want to forget about it, this and that. That's still going to be there the next morning, next week, next month. It's going to keep being there. And even if it's something you can't even help or it is out of your control, all right, switch gears. What is my mindset and perspective going to be towards that thing? Sometimes you might be so overwhelmed with good news and positive things where you're like, okay, now I'm slightly overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. I don't know what direction to go. Find somebody to ask help. Oh my God, I got all this going on. What do I do with this? Don't let the opportunity slip out of your grasp either, because you try to do everything yourself. I've been that person, controlling and perfectionist, and I'm going to do this and that. I got this, I got that. No, like if you have reliable people around you or reliable resources that can help you through some things of, I just don't know. I just don't know. But these levels of comfort, these levels of confidence, these levels of being okay with being vulnerable or comfortable enough to say, I just don't know, or I need help. These don't come through the drunk nights, through the nights of getting high, through the nights of popping whatever the heck you're popping to just, oh my God, this is going to take you to Mars and make me feel like I'm in the galaxy. Yeah, and then you're going to come crashing back like an asteroid back to Earth and probably feel worse. So this is life. There's probably nothing that's ever going to completely stop or change these feelings. So really, the bigger picture is the game of life, and how are you playing it? Are you letting it get the best of you? Are you crumbling under pressure? Are you going to the negative before even trying to consider the positives? That I have a snack up there for her. She is so smart. Weenie. You'll get it after. I love her. Get yourself a pet. I don't know, but she's my therapy a lot of the time. This is my baby girl. That's, I love her. She's therapy in a form, and I'm okay with that. We all need help sometimes. We're all human. We're not supernatural. We're far from perfect. Come here, Weenie. Baby, get to what I say. Now she's a parrot. So what does it look like for you to figure out your balance, figure out how you are playing the game of life, and what is your mindset and perspective going to be to get through these things, to find solutions, to have enough patience to not be impulsive, to be okay with experiencing them, to be okay with feeling them. What is your thing that's going to help you overcome and get through emotions that might make you feel overwhelmed at times or not the best at times? Because they're going to come. They're going to be there. There's no escaping it. There's no avoiding it. And the worst thing you can do is create a lack of being sober-minded, like if that's going to make it disappear, because it's not. Get the help that you need. It's serious. I do work at a mental health therapy office. It's always going to be confidential no matter what. If there's somebody you want to speak to that's a good fit at the office, reach out. Get the help that you need. It might be therapy. It might be church. It might be maybe a positive outlet where, like, my podcast helps me speak on things based on experiences from my own life. And it helps me put certain things into perspective of, why did that happen? Why did I experience that, in that way? Why did I react that way? Why was I that version of me in those previous relationships or with certain friends or in the workplace? I had to sit here and identify those things and be okay with, I had a bad attitude. I had a bad mindset. I let my emotions get the best of me. I could have handled that situation better. I could have expressed myself better. But those moments of clarity, it didn't come when I was having, 2 or 3 drinks. It wasn't coming when I was out in the club, living my best life and just dancing my heart out, although dancing is my therapy. But I want to do things in a healthy light. So when I pick up the phone and I say, I want to have a girls' night, I want to go out and have a girls' night because I legit want to get dressed up with ladies. I want to, maybe have a drink just while we're out for social, fun, and not need a second or a third or a fourth or need multiple shots to the face, because if I don't do that, I didn't have as much fun as I could. No, I'm at an age and I want to be around people who have the mindset of, we can have the best time of our life like it's the 2000s. The same way we can dress up grown and sexy, sit in a room, maybe still have a good drink, have good grown, loungy music playing in the background, and I'm still having the same equivalent of fun because of who I'm surrounded by. the type of environment that I'm in. At the end of the day, you should be your own vibe. You should be the energy that you want to experience and feel, and then you bring that wherever you go. And then if there's people or things that add to that, amazing. But by the end of the night, you should be going home with that same level of energy or better that you went out with, that you surrounded yourself by those people with, to whatever establishment you went to. If you are feeling drained or you're just feeling like crap by the time you get home, or waking up the next morning with a hangover, now you're just like, oh my God, what did I do last night? And now you're just having this feeling of regret. That's not a normal or good, it's not a healthy feeling. So the point of this episode was work on you. If you need to step back, disconnect, take a break, you do that. If that's what works for you, do it unapologetically, without or with explanation if you feel like. I don't want nobody filing a missing persons report either. But it's okay to put you as priority. That is not selfish. If you are a person who enjoys giving and helping people even more, you have to make sure you are good so that you can be refreshed and not draining yourself while you're trying to help others. So balance, being mindful, being aware of who you are, what works for you, what doesn't, being comfortable and confident in that, no matter what people have to say or what you think people are going to think. It's okay to stand out from the rest. Be comfortable within your own skin. If you know something feels right and feels good and it works for you, forget the rest. Forget people's opinions or what they think they know or what their opinion is based on looking from the outside in. Being sober-minded is a superpower in itself. You want to be supernatural? You want to do all these things you never knew you could actually do? Be sober-minded once in a while. Be sober-minded all the time. But I get it. It's a long week. You got to just have a drink to just bring you down, decompress, wind down, whatever the case is. You could do that in the peace and comfort of your home too. Let's talk about how underrated the peace in your home can be equivalent to entertaining as you out at that establishment with music and everybody around you socializing this and that. Just don't be out to be out, and don't be around people just to make it look like you are not alone. That is self-destruction, whether it's slow or fast. You are just setting yourself up for failure after a certain point, or it is eventually going to become self-sabotage. Self-sabotage, that would probably be a whole nother episode. But be okay with being sober-minded. And if you are in a healthy mind and you want to go out for entertainment and have a drink, this and that, do it in a healthy way, but do not do it to a point where it is removing clarity, removing focus, removing good decision making. Like, it's a very serious thing. It is a very serious thing. And if you're in a good season of your life, don't jeopardize it with a moment of not being sober-minded because of influence, because of the environment you were in, because of peer pressure. Like, it's funny because peer pressure definitely didn't stop in high school. It kind of got worse in adulthood. Because as you get older, well, oh my God, you're acting so old, this and that. No, I'm acting in a way where I want to preserve myself to not look like death by the age of 40, 50, or 60. These are all very real things. Be sober-minded so you can make the best decisions for yourself, and do it confidently and unapologetically. It is not selfish. After God or whatever you believe in, it's okay for you to be your first priority and let the rest come after. This is your girl M, and Just Ask M. Don't forget to support local and subscribe. Until next time.